Who would do this to their Gibson guitar? In today's video, we're checking out a Nolan-era Gibson Les Paul which has replaced EMG pickups. The purists are going to absolutely hate this one. So without further ado, let's get straight into this Squealing Pig Guitars episode. Hey guitarists, welcome back to Squealing Pig Guitars, the home of luxury shred machines here in Nottingham, England. My name is Ben Keightley, and today we have quite a special episode to show you. We're checking out a Nolan-era Gibson Les Paul with replaced EMG pickups. This guitar is so heavy, but it's an absolute shred machine. So first off, let's go over the specs of this awesome Nolan-era guitar. So here's the guitar in question for today's video. As you can see, it's a Gibson Gold Top from the Nolan era, and it started life as a 1979 Gibson Les Paul Deluxe. But someone, at some point in time, butchered it with the EMG pickups. They cut out the routes, replacing the mini humbuckers for EMG's 85 and 81. However, I don't actually think it was that bad of a modification. As you'll hear later on in these videos, the tones from these pickups are pretty cool. But visually, I'm not a big fan of a gold top with EMGs. If it was maybe a blacked out Les Paul Custom or a white Les Paul Custom, that would look a little bit cooler. In the Nolan era, they were cheapening up their manufacturing techniques, obviously, to keep costs down, and as a result, some of the features on the Les Paul got changed. Instead of a single piece of mahogany for this body, we have what they call a pancake body, as you can see as a close-up there. So what we literally have is a maple top, with a piece of mahogany, then a little piece of maple, and then another piece of mahogany, causing a very heavy body construction. This is very body heavy. So yeah, we've got a pancake body on this one, and then another non-traditional spec for a Les Paul is that we have a 3-piece maple neck with a little volute here on the back. The volute was added to add reinforcement to the headstock, and arguably is actually a more improved design than the original 50s ones, as it adds a bit of strength here. Obviously you have the unique kind of 70s style for the headstock. The sides of the butt kind of go out a little bit more extreme as well. It's a bit like a caricature of the classic 50s one. And as you can see, of the deluxe truss rod cover there. Still the same Gibson deluxe tuners. Obviously a rosewood fingerboard with some really nice inlays. I believe these are mother of pearl. They have some really nice kind of figuring to them, very impressive. Got natural patina over the binding. I believe this would have been white when it started life, but now it's yellow. Obviously all the plastics have gone into that nice creamed look. As I mentioned, we have EMG 85 and 81, and the wiring has been replaced for the EMG solderless system. We have 2 volumes, 2 tones. These are kind of like the classic ambered ones, but they're a little bit taller than a classic 50s one. We then have an ABR1 bridge on this one, which is quite surprising to see. You normally see like the Nashville style, but that's drilled directly into the top, and then you have the stop bar tailpiece. But I believe that's everything that you need to know about this Gibson Les Paul Modified Deluxe. So I can't wait to show you all the tones that this guitar is capable of creating. So without further ado, let's turn on the 2-Rock Bloomfield Drive and get into the video. So guys, now it's time to hear this gold top Les Paul Deluxe from the 70s through the 2-Rock Bloomfield Drive. I can't wait to show you the tones today, and in the intro to today's video, I did my own version of No More Tears by Ozzy Osbourne and obviously Zakk Wylde. And when you have an EMG loaded Les Paul, you have to play a little bit of Zakk Wylde, as it's such a signature tone. So for the start of today's episode, I was using the lead gain channel with the bright switching gauge on EQ2. I've got a very heavy tube screamer going into the front with a chorus pedal, and this is the tone that I got in drop D. As you can hear, it's very gain. As you can hear, this Les Paul absolutely screams, and although I've kind of titled this video kind of shaming the EMG pickup, for metal stuff like this, you really can't beat an EMG, especially in such a heavy guitar like the Les Paul. You just have more gain, you know, it's like having almost like a distortion pedal in your guitar when you have these pickups. But really what we're going to test today is whether the clean tones are as good as the dirty tones. Obviously a Les Paul, you want it to be able to do blues rock, you don't want it to just do metal. So let's clean down the channel a little bit and hear how these EMGs react on a cleaner channel. So I'm still on the lead gain channel, but this would be the setting I would use for most guitars with PAF pickups. So on the bridge pickup, full volume, full tone. It's fairly crunchy. If you roll down the volume, you can get a little clean tone. That's a nice clean tone. Bringing up the volume. Notice is you can still get a nice kind of crunchy tone, still get a nice clean tone, but it's a lot more compressed. I feel like my dynamic range is a little bit more limited on this guitar as these EMGs are kicking out more output. But all the same, you can still get a very acceptable clean tone. Let's do some more playing with that and mess about with the tone control now. So 5 on the bridge tone, 5 on the volume and 5 on the tone on the bridge. But I think my points still stand. I think the clean tones are pretty poor because there's too much compression, but as soon as you engage that tube screamer, you've just got such a nice mid-range tone coming out of these EMGs. It's great for metal, but you can also play blues on it, you know, with higher gain blues. So much sustain as well. I put the tone bypass on the 2-rod. Whenever you have an EMG loaded guitar, you have to play some Metallica riffs. I know you guys really like the one arrangement that I do on this channel with the clean, so I thought I'd do that first and then we'll do some higher gain tones after. clean tone sounded really nice. So when you have basically no gain on the amplifier is where you can get quite a nice honest clean tone. I enjoyed that on that neck pickup, sounded good. In my opinion, you can't go wrong with that clean tone. It's kind of changed my mind. You know, my previous statement was the clean tone sounded bad, and that was on the lead gain channel with a little bit of crunch. And usually, most of the guitars that I review, that would be a clean tone. But for today, I just had to, shift down to the clean channel, turn some of the input gain down, and all of a sudden, I've got a really nice, not overly compressed clean tone. It's very easy to play, as obviously they give you a little bit more oomph into the amp, meaning it's like having a compressor pedal on board. Let's finish the episode with some classic Metallica tones. So guys, that's the end of the tone demonstration. Let's go to the end of the video where I give you my full review and rating of this Gold Top. Guys, we're at the end of the video. I'm going to give you my full review and rating on this Gold Top Deluxe. But before I do that, make sure to go down this video and leave a thumbs up. It really helps us increase engagement on these videos. Let me know in the comment section below, what do you think of this 79 Custom? Do you think it's cool that it has EMGs? Did you like the sound of it today, or do you hate it? Let me know down below. I'd love to have a debate about EMG pickups in the comment section below. I have mixed thoughts about them. I think they have amazing gain tones. I do think the clean tones suffer a little bit, but when you have a really, really clean amplifier, it can sound cool. Also, most importantly, make sure to hit subscribe down below. It takes 5 seconds and means you don't miss a future upload. We upload Monday to Friday showing you the best guitars in the industry, so make sure to hit subscribe to join the SPG community. In today's episode, I'm going to give this guitar a 6.5 out of 10. In terms of a Les Paul, it's got a really cool, classic vibe to it. It's got that classic Norland era look with the pancake body. I really like the kind of aging on this, which is obviously legit aging. So you've got a little bit of patina to the binding. The tuners are looking nice and old. The gold top is kind of bronzed out a little bit, and obviously you've got your kind of classic appointments like your ABR1 bridge, which is nice to see. Of course, the downsides of a Norland era guitar is typically they're very heavy. They use the pancake bodies on this, and they always seem to weigh an absolute ton. So this guitar, I could feel it wanting to kind of body dive off me. Of course, we have the 3-piece maple neck, which is a very Zakk Wylde spec. I find it adds a little bit of brightness to the guitar, and I really like the added kind of small volute that they add to these guitars. I think it's an improvement on the Les Paul design personally. In terms of the EMGs, I'm a bit undecided. I do play a lot of clean tones, so for me, I would need a really nice low output pickup. For me, the EMG pickups sound amazing on the distortion channel. You can't really beat that tone, but I'd argue you could get a similar tone with a PAF just if you had more gain going into the front of the amplifier. Maybe if you stacked a compressor and a tube screamer, you'd achieve the same tone, but then when you turn it off, obviously you have the pros of having a low wound pickup that's going to have more dynamic range. The problem with these pickups is there's not a lot of dynamic range in them, in my opinion, especially on the clean channel. You don't seem to get the full, extent of the amp, do you know what I mean? Because it's just pushing too hard, so you always have to bring it back, but it's very compressed. I guess when the dynamics are a bit more chaotic and a little bit more free, I think that's what I prefer out of a low wound pickup. With that being said, just judging the tones today, I would say I was very impressed with the heavy Metallica tones at the end, and also when I played one and I played on the neck pickup with that very clean tone, that sounded great, but on the kind of low crunch tone, I didn't like that with these pickups. But on the whole, I do think it's worth having a go at trying some EMG pickups, especially in your Gibson. I think this guitar sounds awesome with these pickups, and it definitely surprised me today. It's definitely changed my judgment of how I see EMGs. Initially, I would just kind of say no to them, whereas now I'm a bit more open to trying Les Paul customs with EMGs, or Les Paul standards in this case. But maybe next time we'll do a Les Paul custom with some EMGs to see how that sounds. I'm sure that will sound awesome. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this fun review today of this Gibson Deluxe 1979. This will be on the Squealing Pig Guitars website, just like all the guitars that we show on this channel. But it is Friday, guys, so I hope you all have a great weekend. Make sure to rock out, enjoy yourself, and I'll see you on Monday for another review. But until then, this has been Squealing Pig Guitars. I'm Ben Keightley, and I'll see you on Monday. Keep rocking, guys. I'll see you soon.